welcome to this week's edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Michael Mandy, and he is Rowdy Jeff.
And in celebration of Halloween 2007, we are going to debate Halloween water.
Otherwise known as H2O.
Yes, Halloween water. Here we are. Mikey comes up
Jeff's attempt at humor.
From the depths of Jason's Lake. No, I'm kidding. Okay. All right, Mike.
Halloween 20 years later.
H2O 20 years later. Okay, right. We got it.
Directed by Steve Miner.
Almost directed by Kevin Williamson.
Who?
Kevin Williamson, the guy who does Dawson's Creek. Almost directed by him.
Yeah. See, I don't watch those shows, so I wouldn't know this stuff. But
I'm sorry.
Please don't sing.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, and also starring Jamie Lee Curtis returning as
Yes!
Laurie Strode.
Yes. And you know what? After watching Halloween Sucks.
That's 666.
No. Sucks.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. After watching Halloween Sucks.
You know what? That movie, I saw a Simpsons episode. Bart Simpson said, "I don't believe it, but it's happened. This actually sucks and blows."
Yeah. Yes. After watching that one and then watching this one, I mean, tell me, you can't get any more different. I mean,
night and day.
This is such a big move back to the original story. You got the Jamie Lee Curtis going on. Well, you got the Janet Leigh going on.
Yeah, that was cool. Jamie Lee Curtis and Janet Leigh, her mom, having a scene
together. And she's got the Psycho music in the Psycho car.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a little nod to us old farts out there.
Well, you're an old fart.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
no, this shows a director that knows what he's doing. I mean, when just the camera angles, the story, just the style of the
you knew it right off the bat as soon as the movie started. The sweeping cameras,
the subwoofer, and the music.
Absolutely,
the changes to the theme, but with the motif of the theme in there.
Let me just say this:
this is a director who knew what he was doing.
If Halloween Sucks would have been in Dolby Digital 5.1, which the version we have it was not in that.
Still would have sucked.
It was in Dolby Surround, right? But I think that's why you're hearing more bass in this one. It was probably mastered better to begin with, but then they're bringing it into the true 5.1 domain.
No, but I mean, like at the moment when a character in this movie reaches a turning point, the music kicks in.
Yeah. It's directed better. There's no doubt. Okay. Yeah. But let's tell the audience now exactly what we're dealing with 20 years later.
Okay, what it is this movie imagines that Halloween's parts 3, 4, 5, 6 didn't happen.
And you know what? I have that same imagination, Mike.
Yeah, that's a good thing, I think.
Well, yeah, like I said in previous debates, I enjoyed Halloween 4 and I enjoyed a little bit of 5. But beyond that, I could do without them.
Yeah, no, this movie definitely. What can I say? It was definitely a good closer to part 1 and part 2, and then forget all that middle nonsense. And here we go.
Yeah, see, they realized they made a mistake. They realized they went completely off the rails, right? They realized this whole supernatural thing with Mikey and this ringleader of the tent people or whatever you want to call him, right? And they realized that this is not where we wanted to go with this. No. We need to get some credibility back to the series. Let's go get Jamie Lee. Maybe we'll even pay Danielle Harris the $5,000 she wanted. No, she wasn't in this.
No, she wasn't.
But still, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's get this series back on track.
I read that Jamie Lee wanted John Carpenter to do this, and he didn't want to. So.
Can you blame him? Did you see the mess that was made? I mean, that's like taking your food, a nice plate of Italian food, spitting on it, and saying, "Here, you want to eat it?" I mean,
This film.
No,
John Carpenter do this film.
I understand, but Mike, what I'm saying is that he watched his number 1 and most of his number 2 do really well, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6 go completely to the toilet, right?
Completely.
He watched all that happen. Now he's handed an opportunity. Hey, you want to do the next one since we trashed your series? Okay. No, I don't want to do the next one. You took all the credibility out of it.
Just keep mailing my check for doing the soundtrack.
Right. I can still hit those piano keys. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? No. I mean, I wouldn't have done it either. Yeah. A smart move by Carpenter, in my opinion.
Okay. But also a smart move by Jamie Lee Curtis's character to move out of Haddonfield, Illinois.
Well, thank God, because I was getting tired of Haddonfield. Haddonfield's got too many rules. Like they banned Halloween. I mean, what is that?
Yep.
In Halloween Sucks, right? they banned Halloween.
Yep.
We got out of there. But then
remember, those didn't really happen in this world here.
Right.
I
But
know,
where
but-
are we at
but-
right now?
but,
We're in the
you know-
school, right?
Yeah.
Jamie Lee is the head mistress of the
Of
school.
a private school with a big fence around
And
it.
Michelle Williams,
Uh-huh.
I don't want to wait. I'm sorry, back to Dawson's Creek, okay? She's
Okay.
straight out of Dawson's Creek. I know you don't know that because you don't watch it.
I don't watch any of those
I've
WB shows.
I've watched it. It's not bad for kids. It's
I
not
do know who LL Cool J is.
Well, yeah, and he did a good job too, and I got a kick out of him,
Mm-hmm.
man. I always do. He's a good guy, a good actor. I can't say anything bad about the guy. He's just. I'm going back to Cali, baby. That,
Yep.
LL, whatever he's in, man, he brings that comedic element, and he brings, he's the one rapper that I can think of that can act.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just honest truth. Let's break it down here.
Yeah.
Ice-T thinks he can act, but LL can actually do it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Ice-T plays Ice-T.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so what did we think of this film?
I liked it, Mike.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked where it
Good.
went. I
Good.
liked how it did it. It did it with style. It did it with flair.
Yep.
Woo! No,
Yep.
it did it with flair.
A little bit of gore, but not gore for
No,
gore's
well,
sake, but just
very,
a little
very
bit, yeah.
little gore. I mean, the kills were still pretty cool. Some of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the whole Mikey mask thing still bothers me.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I wanted to. Why, out of all the movies, even the Suck Part 666, the mask.
That sucks, Mike.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
The mask in this movie, though, was the worst out of every mask they did.
Yeah, way too clean.
Even the forehead just would not stop. I mean, that thing was huge.
Did you say the forehead wouldn't stop?
Yes, the forehead on this thing, you could have projected a movie on it. This
I
thing was
like
huge.
you, Mike. That's a rowdy line if I ever heard one, man.
And not only that, they had a computer-generated mask on one scene that looked totally stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like, do you remember that Bruce Lee movie that they made after he died and they superimposed his alive head onto another actor's body? That's what this looked like, only worse. They did it with crayons.
Yeah.
It was
You know
horrible.
what? You know what though, Mike? This series needed this H2O.
Yes,
it needed
this movie
this.
kicked it in the butt.
And it brought it back to some respectability. Of course, it still has its faults. It kind of started to feel like one of your WB adventures.
It started to.
A little bit.
Josh even had that horrible cowlick in the back of his hair, and even
Josh, what did they do? Roll him out of bed and just put him on camera?
Even LL Cool J said, "Dude, what's up with your hair, man?
No, he said comb your hair.
Yeah, comb your hair.
And that was ad-libbed, actually. That was totally not in the script.
Exactly.
But,
I mean,
LL had to say something. You know
Josh's
what I'm saying?
hair was bugging me throughout the whole movie.
Oh man. Okay. So basically, what we're talking here is that this kind of puts it back on the right track. Okay.
But
only to go off the rails later again.
In the end, and give you the ending you wanted.
Well, yeah. I think honestly, Mike, I'm thinking that the producers thought this was it.
Yeah, and it should have been it. It was a good end.
It was it was a little short and abrupt to be the complete end to a 7-part series.
I don't know. All I know is if I was staring at a brother I never knew about for 20
at a brother?
20 years, I'd at least take the mask off and see what the heck he looked like. You
Well,
know?
okay, here's the problem I have with the end, okay? Now, here's a spoiler warning.
Uh-oh.
Here's a spoiler warning for you.
Uh-oh.
All right? I'm not going to say specifics, but let me just say this. Mike is in a position where, and not Mike Mandy, by the way.
Yeah, I'm always
But
in that
Michael
position.
Myers is in a position. You don't want to see the position Mandy gets in, okay? He's in a position where he's stuck. He cannot physically move his torso, okay? His arms he can move, okay? And his head he can move a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Now, he's reaching out to Jamie Lee like he's trying to make the tag. Okay,
Yeah.
like somebody's got him in like the Boston Crab, and he's trying to like tag her to come in and rescue him, right? It looks ridiculous. I didn't like how you could see his eyes.
Yeah, I pointed that out, that in this movie, you see his eyes throughout the whole
But I
movie.
didn't like it at the end. It kind of gave you sympathy to the character.
Well, that's what they were going for.
But why? Why would they want to give you sympathy now? I mean, it's like we argued about this before in the new Halloween, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
yeah.
Why would they want to give you sympathy at this particular part? You're about to end the series, or supposedly end the series. Why all of a sudden would you want somebody to feel sorry for Mikey? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me, okay? So But my problem is that Mikey became just a little too soft. Even the features of the mask were softer. You know, it was too clean. It was too...
And long. It was a long, skinny mask.
And he just didn't look right. And by the way, who taught Mike to power walk? I mean, if you would have put a pedometer on him in this movie, Mike, it would have been going off the charts.
He was a man with a mission.
He was a man on a mission, but in the previous efforts, what was he? He was a slow, plodding, menacing machine.
And those movies were slow, plotting, menacing machines.
Not
too,
one and
weren't
two.
they?
Not one and two. And this one I'm talking about is that now all of a sudden he's
because this one
power-walking.
he'd been waiting 20 years to get her.
Well, I was waiting for him to put on the earphones with the Walkman, and start swinging those arms going down the street in his pink shorts, Mike. It bothered me a little bit, especially in the table scene where she's all underneath the tables and he's...
That was actually kind of cool, where he's walking on top of the tables.
Kind of cool, but he was power walking it, Mike. I'm not sure I dug
because
that.
if you ever walked on top of tables, you got to land
no,
on them
not
just
the last
right.
24 hours.
Otherwise, the thing will flip over.
Well, whatever. He looked like he,
I've had to escape from someone that way.
I do have to say...
You got to be careful when you're jumping on tables.
I do have to say that the way he conned LL was great. Okay? When he parks the freaking truck outside the gate, and LL's talking to his girl.
He's got to get in.
LL's talking to his girlfriend, right? Like, hey, baby, I wrote this story, and it's all sensual and whatnot, right? And he's reading it to her over the phone. And this freaking old truck drives up, leaves its lights on, leaves the motor running, and freaking gets out. Mikey gets out. You don't see him get out, but he gets out. And LL goes out there and looks, and he starts to get a little freaked out, like, what's going on here, But the fool opens the gate.
To get out there.
Now, would you open the gate, Mike? Seriously? If
No,
you just
I
saw a
wouldn't.
strange truck sitting there?
No.
Oh, come on, Todd. That's LL's name, by the way.
Okay.
Or James Todd. Or...
Well, because, once again, these movies involve people doing a stupid thing to continue the story.
But, some of this, then you kind of go outside the realm of believability in some of this stuff. And for me, like I said, 1,000,001 times, if you go so far out of the realm of believability, you lose the scariness factor. You lose it because you're like, that ain't gonna freaking happen. What idiot would open the gate to go check out the menacing truck? Come on. Okay, but all kidding aside and all plot little problems aside and things that bugged us aside, this was definitely solid, Mike.
Yes,
solid. And Jamie Lee coming back did it. Josh Hartnett had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he was window dressing.
He was window dressing.
He played the damsel in distress.
Yeah, basically, and kind of a whiny one too, right? Why can't I go, man? Why can't I go on the trip? I'm going because you realize you're over sheltering me. Well, dude,
Man, Jamie was power drinking the whole movie,
the vodka was happening in that movie.
And then she slammed those 2 Chardonnays.
Speaking of, now we're talking about the actors. I want to mention Adam Arkin, okay? Who I like this guy. I originally saw him.
He is definitely his father's kid, Alan. Man.
Yeah.
Every time you see him, you just go, ooh.
They sound exactly alike, right?
Yeah, and they even have the chin, the same face.
But I wanted to say, I first saw this guy in Chicago Hope. When it was hot on TV, right? He was one of the doctors in Chicago Hope.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what.
Didn't watch that show either.
Well, he was fantastic in that. Definitely one of my favorite characters in that, next to Mandy Patinkin, right? But this guy...
No relation.
No, really, exactly. But this guy can play a role, and he does it very, very well. I liked I liked his expressions and his unbelievability towards the situation when Jamie Lee and him are kind of making out at the house.
Yeah,
and she starts telling him about her
past.
history, the truth, and what her real name is, and all this. And in the look on his face, how it changed from unbelievability that like there's no way this is freaking true.
Yeah, like come on, you're just
to all of a sudden like whoa, she's serious.
And then she says, "You want that drink now?" He's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Oh, man.
That was a good move. That was
good stuff.
All right, Jeff. How many points? How many stars?
This is really good, and it's just got a few chinks in the armor. I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna give this 3. I'm not going to quite push it to 4 just because the fact that a few things that bugged me. I didn't like the mask. I didn't like Mike power walking the San Francisco Beta Breakers. I liked the premise. I liked the Jamie Lee coming back. I loved seeing Janet Lee come back. Or come from
and the
Psycho.
Music and
I loved the
sweeping
soundtrack. Pretty much everything about it was on track to be killer. It didn't quite make the killer rating. I think it's a absolutely solid 3.
Yeah, very good. Solid 3. Definitely check it out. All right. I'm Michael Mandy, and he's Rowdy Jeff, and we will talk to you next week at the Horror Debate.